Hello, everybody. Hey! Hello, guys. How's it going? We'll go and get started. So, hey, guys, how's it going? My name is Justin.
Mark.
And you're watching and are listening to episode 433 of DangIT Prodcast. Welcome back, everybody. I'm coming back here on the podcast with a bit of a sore throat. So I'm just going to give you guys the disclaimer that if I'm just trying to keep that very well contained, that's why.
He tuckered himself out.
Last night's stream was a little crazy because this, and I guess it's still kind of a thing with RPGs, but the old ones especially, they didn't really have a lot of voice acting, so there's a lot of lines. And for me personally, I feel more comfortable kind of like when I'm in the streamer seat to read those lines out loud. There was a lot of text this time around, and I was trying to like emote some emotions into it, even if I can't really find a voice specific for the character that I could really work with. And I'm pretty sure if I tried doing that even more so, that would probably destroy my voice too. So we're just gonna take things one step at a time. As far as the length of the podcast, we'll just see. But Mark, how are you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Aside from the sore throat, I'm doing all right. I've been trying to really like stick to like a workout routine because these days it's kind of hard for me to kind of get in the mindset to just do it, because
just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Make your dreams come true.
Yes, otherwise I'll just kind of be slouching around and just kind of be in a perpetual recharge mode. But yeah, I'll need to stick to that routine. But for now, today, aside from the podcast, we got a meeting later today. So not trying to make any excuses, but I'm totally making an excuse to not work out today. Well, I mean, we'll see. I'll see if I can like get some walking done. But that's enough about that a little bit. Let's see. Mark, I don't mean to call you out, but you are currently playing through Modern Warfare 2?
Yes, I did.
How's that? I know that just released along with two other games too.
The campaign is incredible, actually.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Like, the campaign is actually really good.
You love to see it.
And honestly, the gunplay, everything feels really good.
Good. I think they pretty much finessed that, so I don't think there's any concern about like gunplay. But definitely the campaign's important.
But the campaign's absolutely fantastic.
Especially for Modern Warfare 2. I mean, even coming from me, like as someone who's not really the biggest fan of like first-person shooters, I definitely played through Modern Warfare 2, and I guess Modern Warfare's 1 through 3 for that campaign. It was pretty good. So that's good to know. So that just came out like this weekend, right? Or yeah, just was this week?
Yesterday.
Wow. Well, that's alongside Bayonetta, and then like literally the day before that was Star Ocean as well. So that is literally 3 games in like a whole span of like a week, and the train's not gonna stop because November is just like, it's disgusting.
Choo choo.
There's Sonic, and literally like the day after that is like God of War. It's so unfair.
Poor Sonic.
Poor Sonic. I mean, listen, maybe if someone's not good, if there's no Horizon game to show up the day before another big game, who was gonna fill those shoes? It's massively unfortunate, but from what I've heard is that Sonic Frontiers is really good. From just generally speaking. Also, it's just the simple like promotion of the game is like through the roof these past couple weeks, and I feel like it's doubling down even more so this past week, because not only did we see a lot of previews about the game, but we also hear some Sonic news in general as far as the show Sonic Prime. They had like a bunch of like poster art for that, as well as an actual trailer for that. My God! And I finally get we all understand now what the premise of Sonic Prime is, which is essentially it is our main Sonic in modern day, but something happens where he gets sent to like possibly a different like type of like dimension, probably a multiverse situation where he'll encounter like different versions of like his allies. One of the most notable ones is a tall Amy.
A tall Amy.
And she's like cyborg.
Like Lola Bunny? Like Lola Bunny Amy?
No, just like cyborg long leg Amy.
Cyborg long leg Amy.
Mm-hmm.
That was a direction I didn't really expect.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really curious as to how they're gonna pull this off because the last type of show for Sonic has really been Sonic Boom, and they definitely stuck to a formula for comedy, and that totally worked. So I'm really curious as to how they want to carry the mood for Sonic Prime for sure. But I forget when that's gonna come out. We've just been seeing a lot more promotion for it, but you guys can check that out too. I'm also getting really nasally here. Real quick, since I'm kind of like stemming into like shows and whatnot, here's what I wouldn't have expected to talk about. The Simpsons, actually. Mark, do you know about this news?
The Death Note parody?
Yeah, it's kind of sick, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I heard about it.
So, that's happening on the 30th of this month, but we got a little bit of glimpse of you know how it's gonna look, and it's really impressive.
Yeah, it's because they outsourced a Korean animation studio.
Yeah, I actually just read up on that. So apparently, what was it? DR Movies? I think that's what the group's called. Yeah, it's
like you wouldn't know it was The Simpsons looking at it at all.
Right. But apparently this group has done some works behind Rising of a Shield Hero as well as Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was like, what?
Which I thought was actually, I honestly thought that was all American made with Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I thought so too. But man, dude, that's wild. Although I guess there was some early works for Avatar way back when about how some of these episodes were gonna look. Some scrapped like scripts and everything like that. It was pretty impressive. But I think they talked about how it was a little bit of like South Korea like animation stuff like that. Ugh.
South Korea.
And
Grenade.
Oh, you're. I assume that you're playing like currently right now.
I'm playing the multiplayer, so I was able to finish the campaign. I always play in any game that has a campaign and multiplayer. I always do campaign first, multiplayer later.
I think that makes sense in this day and age. Although I guess I can't
Especially
really
because if you beat the campaign, you get like rewards for multiplayer.
Is that the thing for most other games as well? I feel like yes, but I just haven't really noticed that.
Some games.
Some
Games, like I know in Call of Duty it's been that way. I don't know if it's been that way in how many other games.
Yeah. I think Doom Eternal did that, and I'm pretty sure Halo Infinite also did that as well. You just
Halo did it.
Yeah, you pick up like armor skins and whatnot that you would be able to transfer over when you do like multiplayer stuff. As far as shows involved, I've been kind of sticking to like my main two, which has been Chainsaw Man and like Spy X Family or Spy Family.
You haven't watched Mob?
I need to watch Mob for some reason. Like I don't really get that. Well, actually, where's it being shown? I stick to Crunchyroll. Okay, so I should be seeing that. That's weird.
It's like on the front page.
I guess not for me. Hold on. Let me verify that.
You just didn't notice.
It's probably one of those things where like, yeah, it's kind of covered up like right now, but I'm pretty sure like if I were tuned in on Crunchyroll the day of like a new episode, I'd probably see it. I like the fact that Crunchyroll like curates all of your anime like stuff based on like your personal interests, but they sometimes close off like the actual shows that you might be interested in. They do put a priority towards like some new stuff, but even then it gets curated like that way or filtered. So I'm seeing some shows that have like second seasons to them, some updates to like dubs and whatnot.
Yeah, the dubs are a bit behind the subs. I guess because they need to take the time to do it.
Mm-hmm. There's Blue Lock right there.
Yeah, like I forget when the new episodes of Blue Lock come out. I checked this morning. There wasn't anything.
Let's see. There's a couple shows I should really like kind of check out. There's one that's like I really love the animation from what I saw of it. It's called Do It Yourself.
Oh, I think I heard something about do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. I probably should check out Top Pop Team Epic's second season. Let's see.
I was honestly quite surprised you actually hadn't been watching Mob.
Yeah, no, like I should, but you know, it's one of those things where like I even forgot about like when it was gonna be premiering. I totally forgot that like third season was actually this like Pacific season. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and check how many episodes are there currently. Here we go. Oh, cool. Not too far off. I can catch up with that if I can. Speaking of which, I do need to watch Hondo as well. It's kind of difficult for me to like catch up on these shows these days. Well, I guess except for Chainsaw Man and Spy Family. I'll see if I can make that work. But yeah, Hondo, I gotta like Phil pretty much told me everything I need to hear in the sense that like it's almost too good of a show considering like one of the characters is, you know, it's a red flag over there as far as like his status in like the universe.
Which character?
I don't know. Whoever's the main character, I guess.
In which show exactly?
I guess because like Phil was just saying that I don't know if this is spoilers. This is why I'm not really talking too much about it. But I'll give you guys the spoiler warning right now. For 10 seconds. Phil was talking about like I shouldn't be so like it's so crazy how impressive the show is considering the character dies later. So
oh, like, that's if you've seen What are you talking about, Andor?
Yeah, I was talking about Andor.
Because you never said Andor, so I
said Andor.
I didn't hear you say Andor.
Okay, maybe Discord didn't pick that up.
Maybe it just went in one ear, not the other, and I just forgot. Who knows?
Fair enough.
But yeah, I just need to watch it myself. Like I've just been lacking on that.
Yeah, it's tough.
I've heard it's great though.
Yeah, I've heard as well. It's really good.
Which is good to hear.
Have you seen the trailer for Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania?
Oh, it looks good.
I was like, this is crazy. And then I don't know if it's because of recent events about talking about like the VFX stuff, but I am looking at that. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess of course it is kind of going to VFX each and every entry now, because like I guess where else could you go at this point? Like all the it seems like the MCU like origin stories all start like from the ground up, unless you're like Captain Marvel, in which case you kind of are just born in space. Or at least how they framed it. She was pretty much like shown like in space first before you see the origins of her. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the movies are just kind of going to that world, and I'm like, this is crazy. I can't even imagine the budget they're doing just for all this consistently. And then there's also the whole She-Hulk business, which actually, you know what, She-Hulk did was kind of a nice breath of fresh air considering all that, where it was much more grounded. There's far less like doing interdimensional travel and whatnot, and it was actually kind of poking fun of the fact that it does focus a lot on, you know, VFX and whatnot. Especially when they said like you're way too expensive, She-Hulk, or we're allocating a lot of our sources to another thing. You just hear like the Wakanda like instruments playing in the back.
Right.
Was there a new trailer for Black Panther? Excuse me.
I mean, they're like a couple weeks ago, I think, like before the release.
Okay, because
it's going to release soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too. That one should be relatively grounded too, since they're talking about like Namor and whatnot.
Namor is huge, but of course they've changed him up a bit because they want to separate him from Aquaman, just because Aquaman made his screen debut first.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something about like him being a mutant and whatnot. I was like, I think they should be okay.
I mean, he is a mutant.
He is a mutant.
He's the first. Arguably, he's in all the comics. He's the first mutant.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say that because now that we already finished, was it Miss Marvel? Just the door to like, you know, and I guess She-Hulk also like helped like push that along too, in the sense that like, you know, they're definitely fully aware that mutants are there, and they're just kind of waiting
Yeah.
to like really drop them in.
Mutants have been established. We're just waiting to really, cement that.
Meanwhile, Deadpool 3.
Oh, dude, I'm so hyped for Hugh Jackman coming back.
That's so crazy. Like, I love how they framed the announcement too. Like, hey, you want to do another movie with me? Yeah, sure.
Okay, Ryan.
Yeah, okay, Ryan.
He said, "Okay, Ryan." Yeah, sure, Ryan. Whatever.
Hmm. Dude,
I think they said that Ryan Reynolds said like he'd almost completely given up on getting Hugh to do it.
I understand it at that point, but that's crazy that he was able to do it.
Because he's like, I've been trying. Hugh's not budging. Might have to give up. And then Hugh's like, okay. He's like, oh.
I got some spaces to fill at this point. How old is Hugh, by the way? Oh, we know like Ryan Reynolds is getting there too.
I want to say Hugh is in his 40s, 50s, maybe.
Actually, yeah. Let me let's actually check.
Oh, I want to say 40s to 50s.
I want to say like he's like in his 50s at this point, but let's see. Not Jackson, Jackman.
Hugh Jackson.
Oh, he's 54. Oh, I didn't know that his spouse is like, oh no, they were that's dated for marriage, 1996. Wow, crazy. All right, so actually now I'm curious. What about Ryan?
Ryan's in his late 30s to early 40s.
Later 40s it seems. He's 46.
Where's that? All right, so he's still in the late half of his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Damn.
he just started his later half of his 40s.
Mm-hmm. Man, what money can do for you as far as your appearance is crazy.
I mean, have you seen George Clooney?
Not recently, actually.
Still looks good.
Oh my god, now I gotta know.
He's still.
Yeah, like obviously, like the hair, you can't really get rid of that unless you like really dye it. But at that point, you're kind of like really like covering it up. But despite that, still looks really good. He's 6'1", not bad.
Doesn't look that old, honestly.
I should be blessed over the fact that like I got the Asian genes, so I'll forever look like young until I hit a certain point in my age, and then it all compounds together.
You ever say the Asian don't raise them?
Yeah,
well,
like
at least for a certain amount of time.
It's I can't imagine where it's like we do a meet and greet like after a good number of like times, and it's like maybe like a whole year since you've seen me, and so like I look the exact same, but like literally by age like 40 something, you come back to me and you're like, oh my god. Like what happened? I just woke up like this.
He just woke up like this. All the age caught up with him finally.
It's true. I don't know. We'll see how that plays up. So other news here. Wow, I kind of really focused on a lot of the news recently. I've been trying to like think about how I want to arrange like the podcast as far as like topics and whatnot, but we really just kind of jumped into like the mainstream stuff immediately. But there's still a couple things left. But I guess I should go ahead and talk about some updates as far as like personal stuff, the channel and whatnot. Personally, I've been doing okay. I talked about needing to stick to a routine as far as like exercise and whatnot. I'm still kind of working towards that. As far as YouTube, that's kind of an important thing. I am trying to incorporate more shorts, so don't be alarmed if you start seeing that quite a bit. I'm thinking, and I did want to bring this up because I posted this like a while ago. I posted like a quick post on YouTube just asking people like, hey, listen, what do you guys think about core concepts being incorporated as shorts? What do y'all think? I just gave like a poll about like whether we want that as a cool idea or not, or could we do both? And so both obviously got the selection, so I'll have to think about that in more detail. I'm thinking that some core concepts that kind of like don't like make it into like the listings can be like a shorts type of thing, but I also think that it'd be good to also incorporate shorts into like what's already in the video as a separate thing too, because shorts are doing a good job as far as like getting people's attention, especially for like the longer form content that we kind of make there. So I think that's a good step in the right direction. As far as updates, other updates into the channel, all the episodes for Final Fantasy VII like remake intermission are done. So that's done. I can finally like put that on put that in the closet. I can hang it up. And the as far as let's plays are concerned, I do have Shining Pearl. As far as like all that's done, I just have to like do the editing for that. That's still underway. And I'm still doing some filming with David in regards to Cuphead. We haven't really been getting together to like film consistently. We're just getting a little too busy, so we're just kind of take it like one step at a time. So once that's good, once we have a good amount of footage, I'll start like churning out those episodes as well. Those are good. But other than that, I am kind of looking towards finally putting this idea I have into motion, which is motion. As far as Motion Man, that's some real shit. Motion Man.
Motion Man.
I want to start doing some challenge videos for the sake of like, you know, I think those have a little bit more of an evergreen status for videos, but also I kind of want to just do something interesting as far as like something that can grab people's attention versus like the standard let's play. I think let's plays can still exist on channel though. Well, I'll try to incorporate some other like videos as far as challenges and whatnot into the mix. But that's kind of all the updates we got for DangIT on YouTube. Twitch is pretty much a continuation of streaming through Trails in the Sky, a little bit more heavy focus on that up until, you know, Sonic and God of War, to which those kind of have like a bracket, and then like shortly after it's gonna be Pokemon. So it's gonna be like a juggling act. It'll be painful but interesting.
Painful but interesting.
Painful but interesting. I'm doing my best. I want to play those games specifically. I'm actually really looking forward to Sonic with all the hype around that, and God of War just is crazy looking. And Pokemon, obviously, I'm really interested in because I just have a history with that. Speaking of Pokemon, actually, we got another update. They've been keeping consistent with posting stuff like each week, which I'm totally open for. Especially introducing some new mons. And this one, what's it pronounced as? Greavard?
Ghost Doggo.
The ghost dog. I read into it's funny because I took a break like on the day that this was announced. So I was like, ah damn, I could have talked about that like on the spot. But this ghost dog, I read into its status, its background on the Pokemon website. So Greavard doesn't really have any like dark backstory to it. It just simply is, it exists, and in Paldea it's probably the most friendly, approachable Pokemon. But having said that though, it will just kind of spend a lot of its time underground with its like candle tip like hanging up for people to investigate.
It also slowly drains the life from you just by being around you.
Yeah, I don't think that's on purpose. I think it's just way too friendly, but it needs like life energy.
From what it's based on, I might, because like again, gotta love Loxton Noggin. He really does get it every time. From what he was saying, it does like that sounds accurate. There's actually a myth or legend that it's based on.
What, like a myth of legend of something that also does the same thing, like siphoning someone's life energy by just being around them?
With involving a candle.
A candle? Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay. But yeah, no, it's the forbidden good boy.
The forbidden good boy. The forbidden goodest boy.
I'm really curious if it has an evolution, but if it doesn't, I'm totally okay with it. It's on the team.
It looks like a base mon to me.
Yeah. along with Cerulean Lich. There's some pretty good like ghost types already. This is gonna be this may not be really good with type matchups, but we'll see how that plays out. But that's kind of all we got for Grievert, and I guess that makes sense because, you know, Halloween's like right here, so some good timing right there. I will tell you guys right now, as I was talking about Sonic Frontiers and God of War as well. From what I've been seeing on Twitter, there's some copies showing up like out in the wild, so do be careful about like spoilers being posted anywhere on the internet. Of course, like Bayonetta just came out, and there's already videos about like all the way about like cutscenes, final bosses, and whatnot. So watch out for that too.
That's just how it goes.
That's how the internet is. Like, I think I've talked about this guy before, but this guy Abdallah Smash on YouTube, he pretty much has like the Nintendo content on lockdown. He will post like walkthroughs and everything like that, like, and have them all scheduled like in advance, all within NDA, of course. But pretty much like the day the game's released, he already has all the parts uploaded as far as like all the way to the final boss in most cases. So I'm like, whoa, that's a crazy grind mindset. Props to him though. And at the very least, he avoids like any type of clickbaiting, like spoiler like tags, titles, thumbnails, and etc. So as long as you're doing that, it's fine. But some other people on the internet you may want to watch out for, so if you can like filter out your searches, then I definitely recommend that too. I remember that God of War was well, I wouldn't say it's leaked per se. Well, actually it was kind of leaked because if anyone doesn't know, PlayStation 5 will has like a default setting where it will record all your stuff as far as like your progress, achievement, or not achievements, trophies. So that person just didn't have it set, so they just inadvertently leaked some content there. So watch out. And I guess like going forward, people should just watch out for their PlayStation 5 copies of games. Just turn that setting off, and you'll be okay. I heard someone though on the other side with Sonic Frontiers is that this is it's one of those games where you don't really want to know anything about it. You want to just play it for yourself. So
Go in blind.
I'm gonna try my best too, which is why I'm gonna put an emphasis on like trying to play that the week of. I still need to pre-order God of War. God of War might be the first. Oh, Ragnarok might be the first like game I'll actually like put like a full $70 down for, and that's kind of scary. Especially since there was some news on Xbox's side. Of course, it was Phil Spencer. He was talking about how they know that they're going to have to like increase the prices for Xbox games in the future, but for the remainder of 2022, not the case. But they will have to probably increase prices.
Basically, he's just saying like, he's tried to keep it down as long as he could. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to be able to keep it down for forever.
Yeah, and I think that's just an ultimatum. And that's fine. It's a little bit of a bummer, but at the very least, they still have Game Pass. Game Pass is not going away as far as what it does for gamers. Maybe an increased pricing and subscriptions later on, maybe, but you know, at least it's not like.
I appreciate that Phil was trying his best to keep the prices down for a long time.
Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. I think although I'll say that the Xbox ecosystem, I think it's gonna be just fine. I don't think there's going to be really any big issues about that. What they need to just focus on is just kind of like, I guess, negotiating. Well, actually, not really negotiating. Already, all the companies they acquired are already making their games. So, and they've been releasing them here and there. So that's good. I'm still looking forward to Starfield as one of them. I know that. Well, that's Bethesda. I know that. Oh my god, why am I blanking on their name? But they have a, what was it? I don't remember the name of the game either. It starts with an A. Ooh, but I was looking forward to that one as well. Obsidian.
The studio.
Obsidian.
Do you remember what studio it's from? It's an Obsidian game.
Yeah. Ooh, now I gotta look.
Did it start with an A?
It starts with an A. If not, Avowed. There it is.
That's what it is, Avowed.
Thank you. Thank you, Google, for that one.
And I mean, we already know Obsidian's also in development on Outer Worlds 2.
That's true. I actually got to play Outer Worlds earlier this year, and I was like, this is actually really like well thought out. It's short, but for the amount of detail for each world that you visit, and there's also other worlds you can visit as well.
Also, the
Everything's
comedy.
There's quite a bit of comedy. I like that. Yeah, it was really good. I'll go and close this tab right here. Yeah, I guess I was gonna do a quick shout outs to Bayonetta 3 and Star Ocean Divine Force coming out this weekend as well. I know that
I tried the demo for Star Ocean. It was alright.
it was that okay, cool. I know that there was a demo, so good that Square Enix still kind of like puts out demos here and there, even if it's different teams doing this. They still release demos.
Yeah, we should get the demos out there.
Yeah. I know that Bayonetta still has some heat from the stories going on, the controversy with Helena and whatnot.
And she did it to herself.
I did talk about this as a previous stream, but as far as the podcast, I don't think we had it updated. So, to kind of give like
she lied.
Quick update, she lied in the form of not giving you all the information you kind of need. In the sense that
She lied.
Because it's true, like this is one of those unfortunate things where like if you put her on a lie detector, she's not gonna get like hit with that. It's because she frames it specifically about
This thing, the way it's lying still, but the reason that she wouldn't get caught for lying is because she simply omitted some important information.
Yeah, this is true. So, reportedly, from like a follow up to what she had tweeted, she said that like, okay, I was offered up 10K for all of my sessions with Bayonetta. That's when she would then reach out to Kamiya-san and then ask like what she's actually worth. Kamiya like saw that and was going to offer up like 5,000 additional to make that 15,000.
Not alone, it was like trying to add in more. Like, he's like, oh no, you deserve more money for sure.
Yeah, so he was trying to honor like her requests, although she wanted like 6 figures instead. So
which is
it's pretty like that's a hefty amount for sure. And
especially it's like they know what their series is worth, and yes, I agree that voice actors need to be paid more, but you got to understand to go in a negotiation to go from like a few grand, like 10K or something like that, to over $100,000. That's a big jump.
It's a huge jump. That's a huge. Sorry.
It's like, I understand wanting the money. I understand that voice actors should be valued more. I totally get all of that. It's just a matter of you got to understand how that's going to look to the company, how it's going to look to them and the company when you ask for such a drastic increase.
Yeah, no, it's interesting how like I guess talking about like that huge gap from like a couple of thousand to like 100,000, that's one thing for sure. But according to her story, and this is kind of coming from her at this point, apparently she obviously like rejected the offer for 15,000 at this point, and according to her, a lot of months passed, which I'm kind of suspicious of now. I'm thinking about it, but a good number of months passed. She hasn't heard from these folks, and then they reach out to her offering 4,000 flat for additional voices, but not Bayonetta specifically. So I kind of sit neutral like when it comes to like her response on this, because there could have been a situation where she may have just gotten that news and she was so infuriated by that she wanted to report on the fact that she got only offered 4K flat only, and she felt like she was getting ripped off for that when she was previously offered more. But you're right, she still did not like include that information, and when you're gonna make this type of statement, you kind of need to have that out there too.
Yeah, because you're claiming that they did you wrong in paying like 4,000 for the entire project, which no, it wasn't that way to begin with.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
It's like that's not
like
at
that.
all how it started. It started out with they were offering you a good 6,000 more than that. They were offering you at least like 10 to 15K for just to start with.
I think that's as a whole, from what we understand.
I'm saying like that was the starting offer.
The starting offer was like 10,000. Although if there was any rates to that, I don't really know. But I think in total it would have been like 10,000, according to
There's
her
also
anyway.
the fact that she asked for the 6 figures and royalties.
Yeah, this is true.
I think if she had just, I think that if she did royalties and the 15,000, I think she could have scraped by just fine.
Yeah, she could have. I can't really see on her behalf or any like voice actor's behalf on that. Honestly, like I wish I knew just so I could have like a better like idea of like how that is. I understand though that I feel that voice actors these days, especially that being shed some light upon these past like couple months, that's important to like actually pay them
Well,
fairly.
well, I'm thinking about the reason I'm saying that is because think about it with the royalties. That means like for all the sales, she gets a cut. For all the lines that are used, she gets a cut. So with
hmm.
royalties and the fact that millions of copies of Bayonetta have been sold out, she's gonna get paid.
Well, I also want to say that like Bayonetta is very popular, but I also kind of feel like, you know, the discourse here also kind of helped contribute to sales as well. I mean, I'm kind of included into that too.
Well, are you saying the Discord happened? This discourse happened? You were like, I'm gonna really buy Bayonetta 3 now.
I got a couple of reasons why I got it like early. One of them is because Nintendo first parties don't really go down in sales, so I mean, there's a chance for it.
What on Nintendo ever does go down in sale? Like literally nothing.
Like there's like the only time that they go down sales is like for some really old like games. Well, maybe not
So I'm
really
saying,
old,
I'm
but
like,
like I think last year they
that's,
offered up like Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Sword and Shield for like $40, which is still a
that's
good
probably
deal. But you
a
know,
temporary sale.
it's a very temporary sale, and then they boost it back up again. There's exceptions, obviously, like third party games. Like for example, I'm pretty sure like Mario and Rabbids will go down to its like eventual $20 price point. Just
They have a
like
sale like they have a sale like every now and then. It's like for a small amount of time. It's really not a ton off, but it's something.
yeah, yeah. At the very least, it's something. Like you'll probably see sales for it like on like Black Friday for sure. As far as like bundles, if anything, and something like here and there. It kind of depends though.
I, I love you, Nintendo, but God, when it comes to your business practices, sometimes you're a little out of touch.
I get it. I get it. Like I think I'm not sure if you've been following Kid and Krista since they left Nintendo, but they've been talking about their experiences, and they're recently in their podcast with the Nintendo podcast.
Have they used my saying?
I'm sorry, what was that, Mark?
Have they used my saying at all, or at least something like it?
Something like that. Yeah, they were pretty much saying that like just
Nah,
it
that
was
makes too
only
much
recent.
sense.
They tried to do like a podcast type of thing early on, and they actually had to like kind of talk about like what are the benefits of having a podcast, and apparently like those well, I may not have like the facts completely straight, but some like corporal people were probably like, nah, like we don't really understand this. Why would people want to watch other people talk about like our games and whatnot, for example? So there was just a lot of practices that we typically see now that don't really make sense to them. So it's just like, you know, for Kid and Krista to try to like talk about that, and like their whole Nintendo Minute was completely like unpaid. It was all like, well, obviously the resources are going to be provided, but aside from that, they actually have like other jobs on the side that they have to adhere to before they can focus on like Nintendo Minute and do that kind of stuff. So they don't really have Nintendo over there just doesn't really have that like level of understanding that we're kind of used to now, where content creators and whatnot are able to kind of share their experiences, and it actually shows benefits to like their sales. They don't quite see that, considering the fact that they had like a partners program, and at a certain point, Chris actually like noted this, was the fact that like at a certain point, a lot of people who were in the content like creator program for them either were posting some stuff that didn't adhere to their identity, or they just weren't posting at all, and they just want to have the clout of having a partnership with them, and so they axed off a lot of people. And I guess that also included like Wood from Beat 'em Ups.
Ah, Nintendo.
Wood got some closure on the episode. It was actually kind of crazy to see that. So I don't know. So TLDR, Nintendo's practices are kind of weird, and it's still in a realm that's like not quite embracing everything, but I think it's a slow like progression towards it. So you might see something like in the future where you'll see a lot more content creators like posting stuff and being like an affiliate partner of sorts with Nintendo. Roger Space is one for sure. There's a couple other people too.
Is Roger Space affiliated with Nintendo now?
Yeah. As far as like him just having like open, like friendly negotiations and just relationships like with Nintendo, like they send copies to him like all the time. As far as just like some
Like early
giveaways here and
review
there,
copies?
free games in advance. So
I was saying like early review copies or
yeah,
something.
essentially, yeah. So
Yeah, they do that to people. They do it for influencers. They don't have an audience. They're like, oh, well, hey, here's a free copy. Play early.
yeah, I think it really can work out. It just depends on like how you present yourself in like as far as your brand. Like, can you be like a Nintendo like friendly type of content creator? You know?
Well, it's also because that's a very
Hmm.
they've gotten better with accepting that people are going to have different forms of comedy and say things that are a little adult, but you still have to really ride that safe line.
Yeah, I guess I've been kind of doing that too with my content as well. But it's mainly just on a language front. Like, I just don't really curse as often. But of course, you know, something that kind of slips here and there. That's understandable.
Then
But
there's me.
and then actually it's you, it's Phil, it's everybody. That's okay. You
Swear
guys,
like sailors.
yeah, you guys don't have to do anything. Just, you know, FYI, you guys don't have to do anything. I'm just doing this because I've gotten
Just swear like sailors.
but yeah, what was it? Oh yeah, I was trying to remember exactly where we're getting from. We were actually going off on a tangent this time. It was about the Bayonetta like drama, right? But yeah, TLDR. That didn't really quite slide with the internet. So here we.
And I'm just saying it's sad because this is going to affect the believability of other stories in the future.
Yeah,
It's the same thing that happened with some more serious allegations of things like that,
yeah,
where it's like you should believe people when those things happen,
it's
but
true.
people were caught lying about some of those things that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and so it caused disbelief. And of course, and in short, no matter what it is, whether it be this or whether it be something like crime related,
Mm-hmm.
just don't lie.
It's true. Yeah, just be honest about it. Like if there's anything you miss in like any type of like thing you talk about, then just own up to it. Own the fact that you may have missed out on something and you want to just set the record straight about that. But other than that, what was I gonna say? Really just, you know, lay the cards out for that because unfortunately, just the discourse of just how the internet is, no matter what you have to say, like it will leave some kind of impact on people going forward, especially when people's careers are on the line. Like Helena, I mean, obviously she likes to do theater, so she might have still a thing for that. But as far as like voice acting, it's kind of like if you were a
She kind of
company and you were
she
looking for
kind of fucked
voice
herself in that
actors,
loop.
and you know,
Like, let's be honest, she committed career suicide.
yeah, because she really just risked that in the sense of trying to like secure like this I guess this identity for herself to be one to support like charities over, you know, this injustice in like paying voice actors, which is still a good like thing at the end of the day, but unfortunately now
Well,
that's
I googled Bayonetta. Yeah, she ain't out of the fire yet, son.
what was that? I'm sorry.
I googled Bayonetta, and yeah, she ain't out of the fire yet, son. Yeah, apparently, people found something else to get upset about with her.
Uh-oh. More apparently. Hearsay has a lot of power in the internet, so y'all watch out.
Well, it's because one of the charities that she donates to apparently is very anti-abortion.
So you know she's not about pro-choice. It's about oh, okay. I mean that's a whole like that's a whole thing.
I mean, if that's the way she feels, that's the way she
Yeah, that's
feels.
just the way she feels. But of course, that's yeah another thing for people to like really like get to really stir with people. But yeah, that's
It's
wow.
it's I mean, I've said my stance. I don't like it, but I'm not going to say people can't have it.
Mm.
But
Well,
I mean, it's just not a good look for her essentially.
yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, her acting, voice acting career is kind of kaput. And I was just
It's
saying
kind of done. It's kind of dead.
because I can only imagine like from the perspective of like another company that needs to have some voice acting done, and say what you will about like the payment of that, but now you have Helena Taylor, or yeah, she was like, say she's like wanting to audition, and you may let her do that, but will you really, no matter how good she is at this point, knowing that she might like she'll break NDA
And lie.
and also lie and also try to put you under fire and drag your entire company down with her. It's like,
Just
whoa.
because she didn't get them dollar bills.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I get what her stance is though, as far as like, you know, pay
Like, yeah, I
fairly
understand. I
and
could have
a
respected that if
fear.
she had told the truth.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like her message was still true as far as like voice acting is involved, but you know,
It is like her message, without a doubt. Still, I respect her message, but I don't respect that she lied.
yeah, that was very important as well.
Yeah, because she essentially was. I mean, she essentially just made a bad name for herself, and honestly, now her career is, at least in voice acting, her career is not looking so good.
Yeah, and you know, Kamiya like aside, as far as like his response on the like on Twitter especially, yeah, no, Bayonetta 3 sales have probably had the opposite effect as a result of all this. It went up, sold off everything.
I've heard that man has a habit of banning anybody who speaks English.
I guess because like maybe he's the only one who oversees his Twitter account, so he doesn't really know what people are saying. Even with like the auto translated stuff, like I kind of understand if you don't really want like that level of like negative stuff to be posted over on your side. So you
I was
realize
assuming it must have had something to do with a troll or something.
probably, like I think, yeah, I think it really. I'm not sure if this is something like happened even before all this, but considering when Helena like initially like had accusations towards like Platinum Games, he pretty much like got like a lot of the heat for it. So he then
They were like,
proceeded.
would you care to comment?"
Yeah, and so he just banned a lot of people to a point where his account got like suspended. Like, hey, you can't be like, you can't spam your bans.
They were just coming in so many, man.
Yeah. So aside from that, Bayonetta is looking to do impressively well. I saw a little bit of people. I saw a little bit of like the gameplay just starting off from the intro. People were streaming it, and looks really good. We are starting to
Is the
see.
Switch still is the Switch still struggling during it?
I don't know about the Switch itself, like kind of struggling, but you know, it is a compromised game, just given like you know the parameters of the Switch. So you're starting to see that a
Because
little bit
we
more.
because I remember when they first showed off the gameplay demo, like the very first gameplay demo, I was like, this Switch is struggling.
The Switch is dying.
Because you saw for a while, for a good minute, it was slowing down from the rest of the gameplay. I was like, oh,
Uh oh. Actually, I'm really curious about the size of Bayonetta 3. The data size. Let's see. 16. Whoa. Whoa.
that's it.
It's
18
not too
gigs.
bad. Not too bad, but like
That's it.
for a Switch, that
I
could
mean,
be.
I was gonna say for a Switch maybe, but by modern gaming standard, it's like that's it.
Yeah. Like I think the largest like size for a game that I've seen is really Doom Eternal.
What is that on Switch?
Yeah, when it's out on Switch. And that's already like compromised and everything like that. Granted, I do appreciate
Wait, what's Doom Eternal on Switch? Like, what's the actual size?
well, actually let me see. I'm looking at like the top like like file sizes for the Switch. I do see Doom like Slayer's collection, so that probably includes 2016 Doom as well as the other ones. It says here it's 32.2 gigs, so it wouldn't fit. It just wouldn't fit your
That's like
base model. Well, actually,
that's like the average of any other console.
Yeah, like I think some of these games are starting to like really hit that ceiling. Like there's no way to really optimize them anymore.
Yeah, you can't compress the data enough anymore.
Unless you're a first party Nintendo Switch game. Like I think Kirby was like I think maybe like 1 to 3 gigs.
That's it.
Forgotten Land. Yeah.
That's it.
Let me find out. Kirby Forgotten Land.
1 to 3 gigs.
It might be more. Let me see. No, 6. But that's still really small.
6.2.
6.2.
Say if it was 1 to 3 gigs, I'm like, what in the fuck? Super compressed.
They do a really good job with that, but that shows how well art style kind of carries it over. With Bayonetta kind of like adopts a much more realistic art style, so it's kind of like a pretty good, along with Crisis, of course, a pretty good way to like kind of measure up how well the Switch is doing.
I honestly thought Crisis was going to turn the Switch into a grenade.
Honestly, it would look like that Game Boy that they showcase in the Nintendo New York. The one that's that lasted from the bombing and everything.
Should just charred, sizzled up a little bit.
But it still works.
Still worked. It survived the explosion.
Man, dude, Game Boys are built different.
They built them to last.
They're built to last. Oh my god.
They're like AK-47s. You can bury a Game Boy in the mud and dig it back up about 20 years later. Put some batteries in it, still works.
It still works. Oh my god! But what was that? I was still kind of looking through.
That's like AKs, man. AK-47s. You can bury that shit in the mud, leave it there for several years, come back, it still shoots just fine.
My god.
That's the Game Boy. It's the AK of video games.
Man, I wish there was like. I want to know what an updated listing is for large file sizes, but
There's gotta be a bigger SD card that can hold that much. There has to be.
okay, I got a listing. This is from thegamer.com. As far as when this is posted, let me see if there's. Well, this is actually updated from like December 2021, so it doesn't account for any new ones popping up this year. So at number 20, it's South Park: The Fractured But Whole at 17.3 gigs. And then at 19 is Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy at 17.6 gigs. Number 18 is Attack on Titan 2: The Final Battle, 17.8. That's actually kind of impressive.
I'm surprised they actually got it to run on the Switch.
17 is Observer, 18 gigs. I think that's kind of one of those. It's kind of a whatchamacallit.
You can get a 1 terabyte SD.
You can, yeah. Those are becoming a lot more normal now. Oh,
well, yeah, I'd imagine.
Oh my god, I forgot that Hellblade was actually on Switch as well. Hellblade Senua's like Sacrifice is 18.2 gigs. That's crazy, dude.
You know, Phil Spencer. I saw it just a few minutes ago. Phil Spencer was talking about he wants to bring Call of Duty to the Switch.
That's whoa.
Switch. I mean, the last time I saw Call of Duty on a console on Nintendo, it was the Wii U.
Oh yeah, it was the Wii U. I remember the Wii specifically, but yeah.
Yeah, like the Wii U had Black Ops 2?
It did. I do remember that.
Yeah, so there's been Black Ops 2 was the last Nintendo Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's wild. Oh, here. Number 15 is Wolfenstein Young Blood. That's 20.9 gigs. 14 is WWE 2K18 at 21.1 gigs.
Yeah, they're bringing the big show, bro.
Number 13 is Doom. That's 21.7.
That's only 13? Wow.
Mortal Kombat 11 is number 12 at 22.5.
That game broke the Switch.
Yeah, it really would shut down the game or the whole Switch. NBA 2K18 is the next one at number 11, 23.5.
Did they ever fix that? Or does 11 still have a chance of just obliterating the Switch?
I don't think they really. I don't think they really fixed it.
Or they didn't take it. They didn't go back and optimize it more than re-release.
You might have to double check that. I'm not sure if NRS does that for the Switch specifically, but we'll see.
I feel like they could go back, at least for especially for digital copies. I feel like you could go back and just work on it.
Yeah, for sure. Number 10 is Resident Evil Revelations 2 at 23.6 gigs. DC Universe Online is number 9 at 24.1 gigs. You wouldn't expect it, but yeah.
I don't know anybody who plays that game.
Not these days, I would say. Number 8 is Apex Legends. 24.8.
Wow, that's significantly smaller than it is in other platforms.
Yeah. GTA Trilogy is next at 25.4 gigs. That's number 7. Oh shoot, I forgot LA Noire was here. LA Noire is next at 27.4 gigs.
It's been a minute since I've heard LA Noire.
Yeah. 5 is NBA 2K19 at 31.5 gigs.
The sports game's coming in.
It's heating up.
NBA Heat.
Number 4 is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, 31.5.
That makes absolute sense.
Hey, shoutouts to the remake being announced.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about that.
I'm really curious as how next gen's gonna look in that game.
It's Unreal Engine 5.
Unreal 5 sex? Bruh, I can't
Unreal
imagine.
5, you mean the Unreal 5 OC?
Whoa.
The Unreal Pussy?
We talked about Doom Slayer Collection. That was number 3 at 32.2. It never stops. Number 2 is NBA 2K20 at 32.9 gigs.
How is the older game more than the newer game?
It just doesn't stop, Mark. Number 1, as of December 2021, is NBA 2K21 at 39.4 gigs.
I'm done.
Bruh.
How much was it again?
39.4.
How could you not bring down a sports game on gigabytes?
Oy.
Does it really take that much?
Bruh.
I mean, maybe I'm just ignorant because I haven't played a lot of sports games in a long time.
Right.
But I just feel like it doesn't take that much. At least in terms of like data space, I feel like you could compress it fairly simply.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how they optimize their games there. Considering that they're really just shoving in like their version into the Switch. So really though, I don't even know the actual file sizes for them on modern platforms. So, oh, yeah, that's so far what we could see as far as Actually, hold on. Maybe Games Radar actually has something. There's a link for them as far as like, you know, SD cards for in 2022, the best ones. But I think they talked about some games that released recently, maybe. Or no, maybe not. But yeah, there are 1 terabyte like SD cards, and I think that's just kind of a given these days. Yeah, let me see. Man, Breath of the Wild was still 13.4. At the time, that was still kind of like because at the time of the release, the only 2 real big games that showed up like within like a couple months after the release of the Switch itself was Breath of the Wild and I think Mario Kart 8. And I think downloading those 2 specifically would cap you out at like at your 16 or like, or I'm not sure if they have.
Breath of the Wild. I thought it was Breath of the Wild. Odyssey. Did Odyssey? I thought Odyssey released around the release of the Switch.
It might have been later that year, if not the following year, like within March or something like that. I forget.
I know Pokemon and Smash Bros. What made me actually like say like, okay, time to do Switch.
Smash Bros was 13. It was actually like on par with Breath of the Wild. That's crazy. I'm pretty sure Pokemon's also the same way. Legends Arceus was 6 gigs. They don't really say anything about the Sword and Shield ones. It's been a hot minute since I've looked at that. File size, please. 12.4 gigs. Okay. And then Mario Odyssey. I'll also look at like the release date on that one too. Oh, you know what? It did. I guess it did come out within the same year, but it was like October. So that was like further in. That's so wild. Yeah, Mario Odyssey is one of those examples of like a game that's like super optimized for what's going on. There's Brian in the chat. He was saying, Mario Odyssey, these nuts, got him. Too easy. I was like, what? It's disrespectful, Brian. Let me see. Let me add the chat here too. There we go. I can't believe it.
Can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you've done this. Hope streams are going well, y'all. Much love. Thank you. I appreciate that. Things have been going good. I got a sore throat like last night. Well, I strained it, moreover. I won't say sore throat because that implies I'm sick. But I got strained last night. But we're still carrying on. We were just talking about updates here and there, shows, movies, and then we just kind of jumped into games and we're just kind of still in here. We're really curious about like the file sizes for the Switch games, considering the fact that certain sports titles don't really want to adhere to like, well, at least maybe they just can't optimize it that well. I don't even know.
Maybe you just get what you get.
Yeah, maybe it is what it is. Maybe you make it be like it is, but it do.
They think it be like it is, but it do.
Yeah. Oh boy. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. The last thing I want to talk about was the Bayonetta 3 thing. And I think that's everything I got. Mark, was there anything else you wanted to bring up? I think it's a pretty good time to call, actually.
Yeah, I'd say. I don't think there's anything I necessarily need to bring up.
Okay. Alrighty then. Well, we got ourselves a meeting happening later today. We have no idea what's happening. Well, at least when. But
I didn't even know there was a meeting today until they said, "Hey, is there a meeting today?" I was like, "Oh, apparently there is, I guess."
Yeah, no. And I was really trying to push for a meeting. I was like, I'm totally down because this new project is going to be really interesting. But for now, we'll have to leave it at that. Brian was saying so excited for what was it, BP2 after Rihanna's new song. Your boy's going to be in the theater like, oh, you see, see the emotes on that.
I haven't heard Rihanna in a hot.
Also, yeah, he was talking about Black Panther 2. I was like, oh, wonder what. I'll ask later. But
I am hyped for Black Panther 2. It's a big great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. All the thugs are gonna be in tears.
Oh my God. All the thugs will be in tears.
Yeah. Why you got me crying up in the club?
Yo, bro, why you got me crying in the crowd like this, dog?
The club being the theater. Yeah. Alrighty. I will let y'all know. Next week is the week of my birthday. So as far as podcasts are concerned, we should be able to adhere to it, but we'll see how that plays out.
Oh yeah, you are a November baby, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. I'm one of those late people. It makes me look younger. Or makes me sound.
Why are so many people born in November?
You see, I had the opposite experience while I was younger. I felt like I was the only person who had a birthday that late in. So everyone felt like they were older than I was. I
know majority of the people I know have birthdays in November.
I don't know, maybe the East Coast is built different.
The West Side, everyone just stays clear in November.
Bruh. Brian was saying, bro, Chadwick got me crying in and outside the club.
In and outside the club, damn.
You mean Wakanda forever?
Wakanda forever?
Yeah, we'll see how things play out. As far as like a podcast, that's gonna be usually the same type of format. But just letting you all know, I got some family plans for that following weekend. Nothing concrete, but it's in the works. We'll see how that plays out. But for now, I think everything is good for this episode of the podcast. So, all right, we'll go ahead and call it here. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this episode of DangIT Prodcast. It's been episode 433. My name is Justin.
Bye.
And thanks for watching, everybody. #bye, everyone.